You know, I hear a lot of people complaining about remakes, but then when I cover foreign films, it gets the least amount of traffic. Well, for those of you who don't like to read their films, Blumhouse and Universal have bought the rights to the gut-wrenching horror thriller Speak No Evil, which was released only a year or two ago, and they've remade it into a big-budget theatrical release under the same name. Let's go see if it lives up to the level of suspense, uncomfortability, and full-on craziness that was ever present in the original. Speak No Evil is new in theaters from Universal Pictures and Blumhouse. It's directed by James Watkins and written by James Watkins, adapted from the original screenplay by Christian Tafdrup and Mads Tafdrup. An American family, Louise Dalton, played by Mackenzie Davis, Ben Dalton, played by Scoot McNeary, and their daughter Agnes, played by Alex West Leffler, meet an English family comprised of Patty, played by James McAvoy, Ciara, played by Aisling Franciosi, and their mute son Ant, played by Dan Ho, while vacationing. After the two families hit it off, Patty and Ciara invite the Daltons to come visit them at their farmhouse in the English countryside. While the Daltons are reluctant to visit this family they hardly know, Ben and Louise feel as if it would be good for them to take some risks and have some fun. Upon arriving at the farm and finding more about their hosts, the Daltons soon grow uncomfortable with the different way this family parents their child and imposes themselves onto their lives. But when the Daltons attempt to leave, it proves to be harder to get away from this bizarre family than they could ever imagine. Kind of like the groundhog, once a year, Blumhouse takes a break from releasing absolute shit in cinematic form and puts out a decent film. Last year it was Talk to Me, and this year it is Speak No Evil, which for the most part follows the original story from the Dutch film from 2022, beat for beat until the final act. If you haven't seen the original, I still recommend you do so, even if it is in Dutch, because it's a far superior film than this bigger budgeted remake. I'll get into some of the differences later, but first, let's go with the good. Speak No Evil would be nothing without the over-the-top and bombastically animal performance of James McAvoy. The actor has proven to have a broad range in the characters he plays on screen, from the multiple personalities he played in Split, to the eloquent poise of Charles Xavier in the X films, to the memorable roles he put forth in Atomic Blonde, Wanted, The Last King of Scotland, Atonement, Trance. The list goes on and on and on. He's one of the most versatile and interesting actors working today, so seeing McAvoy gnawing up the scenery as the vicious Patty was extremely fun to watch as he worms his way into this naive family and destroys it from within. McAvoy switches from night to day, from caring to savage in seconds. He conveys a character who has a rage that is just below the surface and clawing to get out. McAvoy is one of the main reasons this movie is as good as it is. Aisling Franciosi, as amazing as she was in The Nightingale, Last Voyage of the Demeter, and especially this year's Stop Motion, tries to keep up with McAvoy as his wife and does a decent job, but is nevertheless overshadowed by McAvoy's ferocity. The rest of the cast is good as well. Mackenzie Davis is wonderful as Louise, a stiff and repressed woman who is overprotective of her mentally fragile daughter and giving to her husband because she feels bad about cheating on him. She looks like a woman who has given up much to make her family work and be happy, and that struggle seems to be never ending. On the other side of the ring of this strong woman is Scoot McNeary, who seems to be making a profession of playing an ineffectual man. He was a shell of a man in True Detective, and his wiry frame makes him reek of beta male vibes. There's a very real but very off-putting moment in Speak No Evil where Scoot breaks down and cries just as the real shit goes down. It's a moment that will make the audience hate him, but the film and the actor aren't afraid to play this type of character despite how deplorable it is. At its core, Speak No Evil is so effective because it is unafraid to go to those uncomfortable places that is often difficult to talk about. Patty mentions, modern society's tendency to hide behind masks and refusal to tell the truth to people's faces. This film again, as it did with the original, spits in the face of those who repress themselves when everything to your core tells you to express that something is wrong and beat feet the other way. It addresses modern society's reluctance and downright fear of real conflict that has proven to be contagious the more and more people scheme, scold, sulk, and waste their lives behind the cowardly mask of a social media account. If you feel wormy from watching this movie, then it's doing the job it is set out to do. More so with the original, but both of these films will make you feel uneasy more than a time or two. Not only is this film about crossing the boundaries into uncomfortable areas, but it also has a lot to say about manhood and the modern age. Patty and Ben are on opposite sides of the male spectrum, with McAvoy representing the virile alpha male that has often been demonized in today's society as toxic, and Ben being the timid, flaccid, and ineffectual doormat who folds under the slightest bit of pressure. While many might account this dichotomy as a recent trend in the depiction of males, especially manly males, in a poisonous light in modern cinema, Speak No Evil feels more like a film asking questions about these roles, highlighting the positive and negative aspects of both alpha and beta male types that are more akin to the themes seen in Straw Dogs. The new ending is more bombastic and in your face than the subtle and more impactful terror of the original. I won't reveal either ending here, but watching it side by side, even if it wasn't in English, this new release has Hollywood written all over it, with the horror justifiably overcome and a status quo returned to. I was surprised how tightly this remake was wrapped up in the end and preferred the more cryptic, nightmarish, and nihilistic ending of the original. A few littler things. I really am extremely happy Speak No Evil was finally released, as the trailer was in front of every film I've seen in the theater all spring and summer. Though I did have fun watching the trailer every time, as I scoffed at the amount of times the trailer referred to art's lack of a tongue and signal for scissors by chanting Dave Coulier's catchphrase, "Cut it out," every time the kid did it. And while this film has one big laugh centering on a particular Bangles song that is a favorite of mine, the real laugh is that the Daltons were able to drive from London to the English countryside in a Tesla, and that it still had a charge after all that time despite the farm not having any modern amenities. Now that's the real knee slapper of it all. Speak No Evil does have a few Hollywood tropes, and it definitely feels like a watered down version compared to the original. That said, McAvoy elevates the film as he gives a memorably maniacal performance. Director James Watkins knows how to cross lines and make you shiver with discomfort, since he was the mastermind behind another foreign film that shattered social comforts, Eden Lake. Here, Watkins brings forth quite a bit of violence and a lot of the squirmy, uncomfortable boundary crossing that was carried over from the original. It's a fun and creepy film. But if you really want to see this idea uncut, raw, and fully realized, watch the original. Please do me a favor and punch that like button down below. Share this video with all of your social media addicted pals. Click subscribe to this channel and ring that bell for notifications. You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your reality. You're